into the legal profession, in fact, looking at these exact sorts of issues. And people ask, well, why the Equal Opportunity Commissioner? They're the best body to look at this. They're independent, they're impartial, and their job is to go into workplaces like this and professions like this and lift the lid on the sorts of systemic and cultural issues that exist around harassment, bullying, sexual harassment, and actually identify where the cracks and the problems are and find ways to fix them.
Does it feel to you, Connie, that there might be a bit of a lack of professionalism in the local government sector where the rigour that exists in other workplaces where people are frequently forced, and rightly, to attend meetings reminding them of their rights and their responsibilities at work, that hasn't been happening enough?
Yeah, I do. And people might disagree with me on that, but it's not different to politics, is it?
No.
In that respect. It's exactly the same, in fact, and the legal profession. And we almost hold ourselves to a different standard, and we think some of these things are okay, which is why I moved those changes in the first place, because why on earth should we be exempt from those laws? There was no logic in that. And in fact, the first, the justifications given when those laws were first introduced were, well, we need robust debate. And we've got things like parliamentary privilege and privilege that applies, and, judiciary and local government should be above those sorts of issues. Well, we're not, and they're not. And that's been proven, I think. When I first introduced this motion at the beginning of the year, I had an inkling that this was getting worse and we would reach a tipping point. So I've let it sit there in the hope that people would speak out more. I didn't quite anticipate how many people would speak out. There were 5 mayors in the chamber yesterday, and that's only a handful. Wow. 5, and the president of the local government association. She was there. Heather Holmes-Ross. She was there in support of this. I've spoken to the Adelaide City Lord Mayor. I've spoken to the Mayor of Norwood, Payneham and St Peters. He has actually said to me that it has never been worse in terms of toxic culture and bullying and harassment as it is now.
Well,
and the last
I know
2 years...
Onkaparinga was a basket case for a long time. You look anywhere on the map. Yeah, that's right. Tea Tree Gully, Burnside, there's so many that spring to mind. But
you're quite right, Dave. Do you want to be footing the bill for that? And I don't think ratepayers think that that's a good use of their money. I've got one local councillor who has refused to let her local council pay her legal fee. She's paying it out of her own pocket, and in that particular instance, we've got a council who has spent in excess of $400,000 apparently on legal fees. Now, it's not just legal fees, it's investigators, it's mediators, and we're not taking into account the toll that this is having on those individuals and the weaponisation that I talked of yesterday, because we know, like politics, this can be very factional and very deliberate in terms of targeting members in council for particular outcomes. That takes its toll on a person. And, these are elected people. We put them there to represent our communities and to do a job for us in the community and to provide services. I don't want my ratepayers being spent on that, and I don't think your listeners do either.
100%. It's a great idea, Connie. We're glad that we got you on today to flesh it out. Connie Benares, SA Best MLC. Thanks for joining us for Breaking at 8. I love